You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Young and the Restless fans, next week spoilers indicate that Damian Kane could be dead. Cane Ashby is a suspect among others, and Chancellor is investigating. There are some intense new spoilers to talk about. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we're going to dive into whether Cain killed his romantic rival Damian or if somebody else did it, and who Chance is grilling as part of the murder mystery that we were promised and they're delivering on. We've got lots of good stuff for the week of July 14th on YNR. And hey, please click subscribe if you're not following us. So by the end of this week on Young and the Restless, Cain is really losing it because he wants to be with Lily. She keeps rejecting him. And then even worse, Damian, his former employee, winds up in bed with Lily. She is moving on without Cain. He doesn't stand a chance with her. He never did. But then everything's going to shift. So after Lily kissed Damian again in front of her ex-husband Cain, that seemed to kind of break something inside of him. Lily took Damian off to her train car, slid into the sheets with him, and Cain pulled this necklace out of his shirt. And I saw some people on Soap social media asking, what's the significance of the necklace he had? It's not the chain, it's what was on it. After watching Lily leave with Damian, Cain pulled out a chain and it had his wedding band on it. They showed it just for kind of a brief second, and some of the screenshots and pictures is not terribly clear, but it is distinctly a wedding band. The band he wore back when he was married to Lily. So it was kind of like Cain was just having this little moment of sorrow, and then the implication is that he completely snaps in jealousy because then next week things take a turn. Damian and Cain run into each other in the maze. Damian and Cain are having a drink, and Damian asks Cain if he's trying to poison him because he's jealous about Lily. And Cain reassures Damian and says, no, we're both drinking the same stuff. And then Cain says, no, because I'd be poisoning us both. And then Damian seems to have some sort of reaction to what he drank, and it looks like he's maybe losing consciousness. Cain's like, what's going on? At a glance, it does look like he poisoned Damian while the two men were alone in a fit of jealousy over Lily. But there's a few things to consider. One, Damian's not really dead. You know, this is just one of those cleverly edited promos, and, you know, he's fine and somebody else is killed. So two, the poison or whatever it is was meant for Cain, not for Damian. That's another thing to consider. If you remember, Cain brought Chancellor there because he said somebody's trying to kill him. And since Cain told Damian they were drinking the same thing, the poison, if indeed someone is poisoned right there, might have been in the glass, not in the liquid. You know, maybe Cain just happened to grab the non-poison glass and Damian grabbed the one that was actually meant for Cain. Of course, if it is Damian that dies, it looks bad because he just slept with Lily and everybody knows that Cain wants Lily back. But the fact that Cain brought Chance there because of a potential death threat calls everything into question. I do have to mention, you know, Damian might not be dead for a couple of reasons. Now that Cain knows that the Newmans know that he left and went to Genoa City and was buying up real estate properties, and he has a minion there. And of course, Cain knows all this because Phyllis told him the Newmans know. That could be the big motivation for what's turning into a murder mystery next week. So Cain might have already had this as like a plan B or a plan C in his back pocket to buy more time to keep everyone trapped there at the chateau while he's got Halden doing his dirty work back in their hometown, you know? I mean, it's not for nothing that Chance is there and that Cain brought him. It all feels like a big setup. He's supposed to be this master manipulator and all this. So you have to think a little deeper and wonder if the Y&R writers are being, you know, clever with these edits on the promos and things like that. So Chance is starting up a full-blown murder investigation next week, which means nobody at the chateau can leave. So that feels pretty convenient for Cain, right? We'll see if it is or not, but that's what it feels like. What's crazy about this also is Chance has no jurisdiction in France to be investigating anything. He is a Genoa City cop. Nobody in France has to listen to him or stay there to be questioned by him, but this is what we've got. So if this is some sort of scheme by Cain to keep his unwilling guest there longer, a couple of things could happen. The promo's misleading and somebody else has died, or Damian appears to have died, but he's not dead, you know? And it could be that Cain gave Damian something to knock him out, has his henchmen Carter and Amanda stash him somewhere. Maybe he's going to blackmail Damian to stay quiet and play dead. Cain might have some sort of leverage he can hold over Damian, some sketchy business thing from his past when he was Dumas. Maybe Cain has access to some special cancer treatment that would be some kind of big help to Damian's mom, Amy. Tells him, you know, play dead for a week and I'll get you this experimental treatment or something. Cain's dad, Colin, was sick and died not too long ago, so Cain may have built up some medical connections, you know. I think Damian could be talked into playing dead for a week or so, but we'll see how it goes. You know, we'll know when the full roster of Y&R spoilers is out next week. It would kind of suck for Lily to finally get a new man in her life and in her bed, and then he dies right after they do the deed. That'd be terrible. Also next week, when Cain's with Damian and the other man appears to have some reaction to whatever he drank, somebody is watching Cain with Damian. They're nearby. They're peeping through the bushes at the hedge maze. And again, this could be contrived. It may be Nick, because next week he's having this confrontation scene with Phyllis, and Nick's telling Phyllis, stop with all the stall tactics, and she's asking what he saw. So maybe Nick was peeping at them. Maybe Cain wanted them to be peeped at. I mean, he's controlling everything and he has cameras everywhere. So later on, Chance gathers everybody in the train car, murder mystery style, Agatha Christie style, and Lily asks if Chance is calling this a murder, and he says, yeah, that's what they're looking at. But Lily at the same time doesn't look like she's distraught, like her new lover just died. That's why I'm kind of like, weird, you know? So at the back of my mind, I'm also wondering if Damian's fine and somebody else is dead and they just didn't show him in the promo, because in the promo I also don't think I saw Victor and some others. So could be somebody disposable like Carter, the guy who's Cain's assistant. And again, we'll know more when we get the full roster of weekly Y&R spoilers. I like Damian. I hope he's not pushing up daisies at the chateau next week. Chance tells the assembled guests that he's going to talk to everybody privately about where they were, what they were doing over the last hour. That appalls Abby, who's asking her ex-husband Chance if he's going to interrogate them. Devon starts complaining that they're all basically suspects in a murder investigation. So be sure to check out our full weekly spoilers video for July 14th through the 18th to see if it's Damian or somebody else who's the victim and what's the real deal with this murder thing.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.